back from work. Right now I'm going to change and we're gonna go work out. So I'm waiting for the gym. You probably can't really see it, but I'm wearing shorts and a shirt, whatever. I'm gonna go work out now after work, really tired, but need the energy to film. So I shall be back in 30 minutes, but for you, it'll be 2 seconds. All right, talk to you later. All right, just finished with my workout. You can't tell I'm sweating, drenched. I'm gonna go do my skincare routine and I'll bring you along and then we're getting to why I started my next video. See you there. In my bathroom. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Not sure what this blanket is. Hello, let's see. Let me know if you can hear me down in the comments. Anyway, we're in my bathroom. You can kind of tell from the window. I'm going to wash my face because I just worked out. So really warm and sweaty. But while I do that, I kind of want to talk about why I'm here and why I started this video. So diary entry number 1. I want to kind of talk about why I majored in mechanical engineering and went to a 4-year and finished it in 4 years. Especially in times of now where everyone's struggling with their job. This is from Family Dollar, so no name brands here. No name brands here. But I kind of want to talk about why I wanted to join mechanical engineering and why I went to a tech school and never thought to change the major in the midst of the pandemic and family life and personal life and people leaving and all that fun jazz. So 2019, right? High school graduate. And I was deciding on a school to join. And for those who don't know, I'm from Chicago. So we're a very big tech hub and everything is tech related, tech. Is there tech or you do art? If you do art, you go to 1 or 2 art schools in the city and you can just do whatever you want with that. But I'm gonna use this Below 30, don't want too hard. It's from Primark. I'm just gonna wash that. But in high school, I chose to be an engineer because in college, in high school, that we had a medical field in high school that allowed you to do like a 4-year track, not to like doctors or anything like that, but just to really know if you wanted to go down the path of being like a nurse, a doctor, medicine. So I did the 4-year program. Finished it in 3 years. Really saw it as an exciting thing to kind of get into, but in school I was never really good with science. So I took AP Bio, got a 3 on it. Kind of saw it as my side to not touch medicine, though I was always interested in bioengineering, but yet couldn't really decide on how to like do that as a major, because for me that would be like 4 years, but then it's like plus other schools and what am I even going to be when I grow up type stuff. So I really had to think about what I want to do in college. So when I applied to a bunch of schools, my number 1 school, which was really a lot of people's number 1 school, my number 1 school was Chicago, University of Chicago. And I really want to go there because they look really pretty. They were super hard to get into and they were not an Ivy League because if anyone knows, Ivy Leagues are super hard to get into, take a lot of work, and I did not have the capacity to do that. If you can do that and you got into an Ivy League, congrats, because I could never. But essentially, I didn't get to Chicago, but it was fine for me because they didn't have engineering. They had a lot of liberal classes because it's a liberal arts school. So the only engineering they had was biomed engineering, and I just didn't want to do that because 4 years at Chicago plus an extra 4 years at whether med school, dentistry, whatever you want to do in medicine. But for me, I didn't know what I want to do in medicine. So I kind of went down a route of like, okay, I like engineering. I don't want it to be specific. I don't want to do like civil engineering. I didn't want to do like electric engineering. I definitely did not want to do software. You might have clicked on here because you thought it was a software engineering. You are wrong. I baited you. Hello. But I kind of saw this as an opportunity to do mechanical engineering because builders, we love building. I don't love construction. I don't love construction. Hello, team. I do not love construction, but I love the fact that you can build things and have that be a career and kind of do anything with it. Everyone says, well, when I was in school, not sure they say now, but everyone always said, like, if you do engineering, everyone always said if you do engineering, that you're kind of doing everything in the boat. You can do mechanical, you can derive into software, you can do a bit of software, you can do a little bit of electrical, a little bit of computer science, just a little bit of everything. So I was like, why not do mechanical engineering? All right, I'm done with my face wash. Now I'm gonna use this. You can't see it because I don't know if it works, but it's just oil-free moisturizer, Walgreens. But essentially, I applied to schools that had engineering in it, that were in Chicago, because I was trying to be local for a lot of personal reasons at the time. But I really didn't want to limit myself when it comes to schools and majors and trying to be, really specific. So when I chose broadly, I chose this one tech school that I actually really like. And it was called Illinois Institute of Technology, or Illinois Tech, or IIT, or the lesser version of MIT, whatever you want to call it. That's where I got accepted to. And I was really excited, really fun, really jazzed up because, oh my God, college for the first time, high school is done, like put that in the new, in the past, new chapter. So when I got to this school, I was really happy, really excited to be there, but it was a tech school. So you always saw people who were trying to be doctors, lawyers, because we had a law program, we had a business school. We were not considered a big school, but we are a lesser version of MIT. But a lesser version of MIT is still a really good school, right? So when I joined, I was surrounded by like computer engineers. I was surrounded by electrical engineers. I was surrounded by people who literally did robotics in high school. I did not do robotics in high school. So I was kind of overwhelmed a little bit just because when you're surrounded by smart people in high school, you kind of told like, oh, you're above, like not above, but you're like with that group, you're friends with this group. And then you go to college and you just get surrounded by a lot more smart people, but you don't know them. You kind of wonder if you were like an imposter. So you kind of get into that mindset of like, why am I here? Why was I chosen? Is this the right path for me? And if I am, the right person to take up someone else's spot who could have been here and been better than me. It's not a jade, it's a roller, not jade. It's clearly not jade. Primark. But essentially, me use you guys as a mirror. Don't be weird. But when I went to the school, I kind of had that expectation of like, you have to be smart, you have to be seen above the smart kids, or at least with the smart kids. Be friends with them, get to know them more, because those are your peers, and you are going to use them to your benefit, and they use you to your benefit or your risk. Falling apart, basically. So here comes and goes. I kind of failed a class. Not failed, but it was a real struggle to get to that point. And I can talk about this more in a video of how how my expectations from high school was very different than my expectations in college. Because everyone says high school prepares you for college. At least my school did. Our motto was literally, our mission is college. If you find a school, you know what I'm talking about. But they didn't really prepare us very well on how to stay in college, I feel like. How to get in school, good grades, good clubs. Making sure we knew exactly what we have to do to actually get into school, but not how to stay in the school. So you get into school, you're surrounded by all these smart people, you're taking all these really hard classes with professors who are PhD, alumni, whatever, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, these people really just, came for teaching but left with like a bunch of tears from the students, and I was full of tears, so I was that student. But the one class I kind of like didn't do so well in was really calculus at the time, Calc 1, because I didn't really believe I had a right understanding of how the class was going to go. And I was really used to being really good at like simple math, like algebra, trigonometry, pre-calculus in high school. And then you get to college and it's a whole new ballgame. No one speaks in class, they don't tell you that. No one really like raises their hands and answers questions. And I go to office hours, but like once a week. They only have it once a week. So if you need help on a Monday and they have it on a Wednesday, you're kind of stuck. You're stuck, you're just gone, you're just forced to like look it up, do whatever you need to. This is before, AI, this is before Gen AI, before ChatGPT, so you couldn't really ask anyone, and your classmates are really just like closed off. So you didn't really know what to do. So at the time I was really stressed out. That and a lot of other issues were like kind of preventing me from really reaching my potential of doing well in that class. And then the time I had like 15 credit hours for like 4 classes, and I didn't really understand how people kind of survived in this environment. Because you go from like, if you didn't do a block system at school, I had 8 classes per day, including lunch. So that was 8 classes. And you kind of have to deal with that every single day. In college, you have like 4 classes a semester, which is like 2 classes per day if you have that. And the rest of the day, it's just whatever you want to do. So my busy life became less busy, but felt like I wasn't doing enough to fill it. So I felt very like kind of empty. And plus add that to the fact I wasn't doing well in calculus. This is my eye cream. It's not cream, but I don't know where I got this from. I think it's just Family Dollar or Walgreens. No name brands here. Not even a real Vaseline, but it works. It works. It's great. Anyway, I get to calculus. I don't do well. First semester I do, not first semester. I get to calculus. I don't do expectedly well. I'm basically failing all of my tests. I don't really understand what I have to do. I need a D to pass. I'm bordering on a D, a low D. And I don't know how to get to the teacher. The internet wasn't really the helpful place that I kind of got on. So then I kind of thought about at first, just like kind of dropping out at first, which is kind of crazy. And let me tell you why. Give me a sec. So as someone who came from a high school that was really pushing for kids to do well in college, or at least get to college, they always push for do AP classes, do college classes, do whatever you can to increase your chances of going to a great school. I obviously didn't go to a great school because I went to Illinois Tech and not in Chicago, but whatever. But when I got to college, it kind of made me realize that I didn't feel like I did enough to really get to that point. We're taking out our hair today as well, so this is also a hair content video. So you're welcome. Let me move you guys and then get back to you. In the back, taking out my hair, so using Miel Rose. I'm kidding, it's not Miel. It's a store-bought oil. It's like Jamaican mango or something. So it's yellow. I just put a little bit in my hands to coat it. It's really yellow, but it doesn't stain anything. Coat it. And then I take it out. But you know, we had liberal arts. We had business. Business is not liberal arts, but sometimes, you know, we had philosophy, psychology, but you don't go to a tech school to learn something like history. You go to like a smaller school, a cheaper school, a school that can give you, you know, a full ride, because not everyone could afford to like keep going 4 years. And we all know that during COVID, the schools never really lowered their tuition. So for people who were literally living either on campus at the time during COVID, because we were still allowed to because of the international students, or if you were doing like 12 credit hours of college classes and you couldn't afford to keep paying it because you didn't have a job or because your scholarship kind of ran out or you just couldn't, you know, afford it. We all know that situation, how college literally did not make it cheaper for us, even though we were learning things online. Especially in the labs. The labs were never made to be gone. They were still put on our bills, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, I still have a little bit of red hair. A little side note, this red is from October, and it was supposed to be a semi-dye. So, yeah, it's not very semi of it. It's very much giving semi-permanent. So, hopefully that fully washes out one day, but I dyed the entire thing to the roots in October. You can kind of see how much the hair has grown. So, kind of cool. Anyway, back to the story. Second year goes by, right? We finish, we do our classes, all that great stuff. Junior year comes around. I'm not really pushing myself out of leaving engineering. I have friends that are engineers. I had a lot of people who I like who are engineers. I had friends in other majors as well, and they seemed to like it. Some of them were questioning their choices of staying in it, while other people left the majors they were in multiple times. But I wouldn't really say I ever disliked mechanical engineering. Like, the idea of me choosing it was never forced upon me. I was never told to be an engineer, be a doctor, be, you know, a lawyer, do anything that was like making a lot of money. Now granted, I did look up salaries before I joined majors, and they were making like at least 70K. And to me, I know you can do more with literally any other tech major, but for me that was pretty good because I still wanted to do something I love, and I love building things, right? So when I went to school, I kept that notion up for really 4 years. Long story short, I kept that notion up for 4 years. Through those classes, we learned how to do different things. We learned how to do like Raspberry Pi. We learned how to make like robots that weren't like, not like real robots, but like, something you could do with a lab that was like within a semester. So robots that were pretty cool to make and pretty cool to like keep if you were not caught. But anyway, other people weren't so lucky in their choosing. Some people were told they had to choose it based on their parents' decision, or they thought about the money aspects, so they went with that full-heartedly. But I never really decided to do it based on money. I decided because I like engineering. I really do like engineering. I really enjoy engineering. The fact that you can build something with your hands was really cool to me. I'm not much of a handyman, but if you ever needed help like IKEA shopping or IKEA putting things together, I really did like doing it. Not because I was like kind of told to do it, but because I really just like getting like a screwdriver. I used to always have one. I still actually have a screwdriver. I can't show it to you guys because I don't know where it is, but I have a screwdriver and it's in a pen and it's pretty cool. But I really like having it because it just kind of tells how much stuff needs to be replaced and how much stuff needs to be repaired. And me having it and having to fix like a broken calculator or a broken doorknob and having just to push the screw back in was like, wow, that was me. And then people will actually be like, oh my God, you fixed it. And it's like, all I did was screw it back in. But anyway, I really liked it. Long story short, I like my major, which is not what everyone could agree on when it came to their majors. I have friends who were undecided science first semester on end, and I chose mechanical because it was quote unquote easier. I mean, easy was a word I would definitely have not chosen because the classes were still hard. You still had classes where you had to deal with professors who didn't care about curving a class or having really hard, problems that were not really realistic in real life building. A lot of it was theoretical and not really practical when you still had labs that were like trying to teach you about the real world of like, I don't know, building something, making a chair. Because you can go to civil engineering and they'll teach you how to like make something from scratch, like starting by drawing it out. You can go to architecture and they will literally help you make whole houses, whole apartments with stick and wood and make it be like, oh, this is practical because you made it. So like it has to work in real life. But engineering, mechanical engineering was always theoretical business. So it never gave off the vibe of like, you're going out into the real world and you're definitely about to like teach people about what you're doing. Okay, this is good so far. A bit more oil, just a drop or two. We don't want to oversaturate. I am washing my hair Saturday. Today is Thursday, July 11th. Diary entry number 1. Anyway, but 4 years goes by, senior year comes around, we're doing capstone classes and we're trying to do building something that was like meant for the revolution of what we learned over 4 years, right? So in my class, we had a theoretical class, which used to be engineers. Why did we decide to go down this path instead of, going to a different path, maybe going down an easier one, maybe doing one that like everyone did, like people did psychology, people did computer science, but they didn't want to do the coding part, so that became a lot easier for them. And with the money aspect and before the whole layoffs things happened and COVID was really helping out a lot of computer science majors at the time because everyone was getting hired for computers. Everyone was getting fired first, but it became a notion of why did we choose to be engineers, even though we didn't like predict the pandemic. Why did we choose it? And for me, I couldn't really say, oh, because I love engineering anymore. It was like, okay, you love something that might not give you money, because you start to look at the salaries at the time because it's your year, you need a job, right? I already had my first internship at that time, and my internship was in consulting because I was a project lead for one of my engineering organizations in college. So I became very good at being a product manager in a consulting firm. And I wondered like, oh, their price range for full-timers was a lot more than engineers at the time. Well, if you went full-time, not internship money. But I looked into a mechanical, they made like $50,000, $60,000. Barely $70,000 their first year. And that wasn't the numbers that I was kind of seeing my freshman year before I really like chose. I really saw money as like, if it was more than my family was making, then it was definitely a lot more. But now that I was being realistic in what I wanted in my life, I started realizing, oh, this money aspect isn't as good as I assumed it was to be. And me loving a major doesn't attribute it being financially stable, especially in a market where a lot of people who didn't have online jobs were getting fired. So why did I choose to be mechanical engineering? And why did I stay and not change when everyone else did during sophomore year? So during, classes, during my internship, during just all those free times you had in between your jobs, because I had 2 jobs at a time, and I was working them all while thinking about pondering why I became an engineer. Because even when applying for jobs full time, I always undersold myself. And that's going to be like a kind of a different video. I always undersold myself when they came to asking like how much salary you want or how much money do you think you can get, as if they were measuring my words on a piece of paper to see if I wanted the job as badly as, I did. Because they don't have to hire me, but senior year you need a job because I didn't have anywhere else to live. I couldn't very well just go home and be like, oh, I'm back home until I get a job. No, I wanted to leave. I wanted to very much get my own job. Anyway, I always undersold myself when it came to a lot of job applications. I told myself 50K was good, 60K was good, because I was already living on college money, which college money is not money. It's money enough to live in college. Once you hit adulthood, right, which is 22, 23, you're kind of told you need to make twice as much, 3 times as much to live in the real world. So for me, that became, okay, I need real money, but 50K might just have to suffice, because where else am I gonna get more money? Because as you know, engineering is kind of a male-dominant role. And you see it in your classes, right? You see it in your classes. You see it with your professors. I only ever had like one real engineering professor, and then she retired that year. So I don't know what that was about. And then you applied to this jobs, and all the jobs had like men, which isn't a bad thing, but it made it kind of hard to be myself when I wanted to show off that I'm not just, a college student looking for a job. I'm this personality person who's, I'm a personality person who had a personality. I don't know what to say. But I wanted to show them like, hey, I'm enthusiastic about the job. I really do need this job. Not to seem desperate, but some of us were. And people in the job just did not care that I wanted it as badly as they seem it. So I had like jobs where I literally would be like, oh, hey, like this is what I wanted. This is my resume. This is my skills. This is what I can bring to the table. And they just look at me, just dead in my eyes, look at me, blank face. And I would look back like, did I say something wrong? Like, hello, please speak to me. And then they just kind of look around and be like, oh, you're done. And I would just be like, oh my God, is it me? So for a long time in senior year, I really thought like, oh, my job, my security, something I wanted wasn't meant to be mine. Like I thought this role was broad. I can go anywhere. I can do anything as long as I put my mind to it. Obviously, master's program was like right there, but I did not care for a master's program. I really just cared for a job, because 4 years of school plus 4 years of high school plus, I didn't really feel that much appreciated in my major, if that makes sense. If you ever went through school, you don't really expect people to treat you like you are meant to be here. But when you get into a job world, they kind of look at you like, why are you here? Why do you even ask for money? Like, if you think you're so good, you should work hard for it. So the 50K that I was putting down, which I personally believe they shouldn't ask you how much money you want. What's your salary range? That's what they would ask. And I would be like, why do you want to know? You already have a salary range. Just let me know after I get interviewed. Don't cut me out because I want money. That's kind of weird. But I always lowballed it. I always said 50K, 60K, 65 if I was feeling adventurous. And I never heard anything back. Let's be honest. Those jobs did not care for me. I wouldn't even say like I was the most qualified person. I had friends who were smarter than me, which we all, right? We all had like that few people who were like overachievers but got the best jobs. So for me, I never really saw myself as being like privileged, I could say, to really say I want 70K. I want a minimum wage of like, 80K. But yeah, you will see computer engineers You will see computer engineers go their whole lives being told, like, you're gonna make a lot of money, you just have to work hard, you have to do college, and you just come out with like 100K. And I was like, how do I get that personality? Why are you guys built to be told, like, you guys are gonna make so much money when you leave college and you don't even have to try it. You just have to have a bachelor's degree. And yet I'm being told, like, oh yeah, mechanical engineers don't make a lot of money, so don't even like try. And it's like your own teachers telling you that, and they're mechanical engineer professors, and you're like looking at them like, hello, like, are you okay? Why did you just say that? I already paid for the major. So I really just kind of stuck with engineering, not because I was dead in my life and it was senior year and I thought there was no hope for me anyway, but I kind of just saw myself as a computer engineer. I saw myself as an artist. I can't draw, but I saw myself as an artist. I saw myself in psychology. I saw myself in marketing. I saw myself as these other majors, and I kind of thought to myself, like, I don't even like those majors. It still came down to, I like mechanical engineering, and I know my skills are transferable, and that's the thing that I have to remember throughout my 4 years, is how transferable my skills were, right? You can learn communications anywhere, right? You can learn how to speak to a person anywhere. You don't have to take public speaking. You don't have to do a journalism degree to learn how to talk to people. I mean, some people, doesn't mind it. Don't get me wrong. It's a good skill if you don't have it, but you don't need to go to a 4-year to learn it. I was learning like Calc 1, 2, 3, DPQ. I was learning all these mechanical classes. I was getting hands-on experience and a lot of things, and like leading a lot of courses while also tutoring a bunch of people about these courses. So I knew like all of this information about how to be a good instructor, a good leader, a good person, just a good builder, and all the things I need. That was like really important. I was becoming really good at what I needed to know in all the ways that it was important outside of engineering. Like, right? If you're a computer science, you're learning to code, but you don't get told how to speak. You're not even told you should speak. You're just told like, oh, look, this is what you do. You do it by yourself. You have no group. You have no help. This is all you have. This is all you get. And that's all you get, right? You're in engineering, my engineering, obviously, you're in a group. You're being led by someone, right? You're being told, oh, you gotta present it in a PowerPoint, make it look presentable, persuade the audience to like your stuff, kind of sell your product as if you're selling it for a patent. And it was like, these skills are transferable. I don't have to do engineering. I don't have to go down that path. If I feel like the money isn't there, if I can't live off my own major, then why would I even go down that path? And I know some people will be like, oh, but like we have no other choice. It wasn't this bad 4 years ago. We didn't really see another way. And I understand, but I don't know. In my experience, obviously, population me, hello, welcome to the YouTube channel. I never introduced it. This is population me. Welcome. And in my world, I kind of always saw it as, if you can't do it one way, find a different way, right? And a lot of people are told that there's never one way to do things. If you feel like your way is not working out, have a good cry, because you probably put a lot of work in that way. But then get up and realize, like, I have to find a different way, because this is still my work. This is still my dream. And no one is making it happen but me. Like, no one was going to give me a job because they were like, oh, girl, we got you. Like, we understand you love engineering, so let's get you one because you love it. No, I have to work it. I took 2 jobs during college, like classes. And I was a tutor for one of them, and I tutored mechanical engineering courses. It was kind of hard. Not gonna lie, they don't tell you that it's hard, but at the same time, you learn how to teach a lot of people classes that you either took and forgot, or you never took and had to like kind of learn it yourself to really teach it. So I became really good at like talking to a lot of students. I became really good at learning materials quickly and in small bits, so I can teach it to them in the same small bits I was learning in. But I became really good at like letting them know, like, if you ever need help, I was here, because I took the most amount of hours because I just needed money, let's just be honest. But at the same time, I was getting my work done. I let them know, like, I was really good at time management. I was really good at communicating with people, like, oh yeah, this is where I'm gonna be. This is how I'm going to be there for. This is what I'm going to be doing. And this is all the skills they don't really get taught in college. Like everyone wishes like college taught them about like how to speak to people, or how to get in the real world, get a job. But in reality, they kind of teach it in a backwards way. Let's not give them too much credit here. Let's not give them too much credit. But they do teach you these skills in like kind of a backwards way of being like, you will know how to talk to people. Like if you talk to like your classmates, if you ever had to help them with homework, if you ever had to help yourself with homework, how do you get about that classes, right? You're not waking up and being like, I can go to class. You're pushing yourself, and something is pushing you to do that. It's not just good grades. It's not just, I need to graduate, because what are you graduating for if you're not gonna like your major, if you're not gonna like the people you might work with, if you're scared to do public speaking? This might make no sense to anyone but me, but population me is all about my experience. But I never really saw myself as this was a waste of time. I never saw my major as a waste of time. And obviously I chose my major, right? So I never had the guilt of being like, oh my God, I wasted 4 years. I wasted the future for myself. Get more oil. It's always an oil moment. Rub, rub, rub. No stains. A chance at a pretty decent tech school. I went there full ride 4 years, had my own apartment, last like senior year, had 2 jobs that I was working at the same time and still was able to do classes, all while graduating on time and being able to walk the stage knowing I had a job lined up. And I really am just grateful for the opportunities I was given to even make it this far, because I could easily have chosen a different major and I wouldn't have been penalized. I wouldn't have been told off. I would have been like, oh, it's your choice, But the only person I'll be letting down, I know other people have families, they have relationships, they have things that make them stay. But I was going to be letting down myself, because in my own world, I always told people, I love engineering and I will stay here. And I felt like if I couldn't make it work, then why did I ever push that notion? And when you're a kid, because I was a kid 5 years ago, let's be honest. When you're a kid, you don't really stop to think about, like, oh, you have a chance to say no. You can change what you say. Because it was always like, oh, you have to stick with your word. Not that I gave it, but I gave it to myself. I gave it to the people I told. I gave it to the people that I was tutoring. They're like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. I said they can trust me to come back and they were still happy to help them. And I never wanted them to feel like I would abandon them for a different major, because even I saw it as difficult. Because why would your own tutor leave and go do like a different major? Like, I understand like people struggle in life, and I struggle too. Like, I never had it the easy way out. I never was given handouts. There was never anyone on the other side of the door telling me, come here and I'll give you the answer, the key to the kingdom. But at the same time, I never let the fallouts that I felt like I was going through really let me down. And I understood like life will be lifing. Life will be lifing. There was worse things at home. There was worse things I could be going through. I could be at a worse school. In my opinion, there were worse schools in the city than just the school I went to. I wish I was at U Chicago, but I literally put some of the pettiness I felt about not being accepted into going to Illinois Tech. But I'm gonna shut down. I'm gonna shut down who they missed out on. I never applied again. I don't know why I felt so heated, but I was like, I'm gonna show you Chicago who they fell out on. So I wanted to prove to myself, if you leave, if you change, U Chicago wins. And yeah. If you ever seen U Chicago, it is a gorgeous place, and they are all really sad and depressed there. But I would have been sad and depressed in a gorgeous place, which I don't regret anything, because it's not me who didn't get in, it's them who didn't let me in. That's how I see it. Really, you can just, I don't know what really I could say to my younger self who saw mechanical engineering as a future, but I guess I would tell her to just keep going. Like, you're gonna see an obstacle and it's gonna be a bad one, and you're gonna think about, why can I not change? Like, why am I keeping myself put in this sinkhole and I'm not moving? And it's like, why am I not leaving this sinkhole even though it's not sinking me? And I don't have to tell her like, hey, look at me. I'm still here, right? I'm still around. I have my own place. I'm not living at home. It's just all I ever wanted, all I ever dreamed about. And if I can do that doing my major, then I can live the life I just lived and not feel any type of remorse, any type of regret. Because opportunity cost is real, and I understand that is something that I have went through, even now. There's always that thinking of what if I did this, what if I did that? What if I spent more time doing this and not worry so much about doing that? But that type of thinking has held people back. It has held me back multiple times my first year out of college. It made me realize that I wasn't worth it. Even when applying for jobs, I really thought like, oh, I wasn't good enough. They're asking for a salary because they know deep within them somehow that I wasn't smart enough to get into their job. So they're asking for a salary so they know like, oh, if she's doing low, she's low. But if she's doing high, she must think she's and I definitely did not think I was anything. So I definitely had to see myself as like opportunity cost is a real thing. And it's a real thing that I was willing to give away just to keep myself in the same path that I put myself on. As a mechanical engineer, I can say that I really do enjoy what I do. It was tough. I did have imposter syndrome because what is a mechanical engineering girly like me doing IT, and why am I taking up a potential spot for someone else? And that will also be another video because these are all separate diary entries. But this is just the thoughts in my head, and I kind of hope this makes sense to someone. But I really just, TLDR, became an engineer because I loved that job. I love the idea of helping people. And you can't exactly go to school for consulting for 4 years. But I probably would have done that more if that was a thing. But I'm probably mad because the math and science wasn't there, and I love science. So I kind of have to get that science in there. But I became an engineer because I knew what I wanted. I knew what I liked. But I knew what I liked. And I knew that engineering was a great idea for me. Even if someone else thought it was too hard, maybe someone else wanted to do something else. I don't know. These are just words. But at the end of the day, I don't regret my choice. And if you're out there and you heard me talk for this long, thank you for listening. I'm on my last braid. Exciting. It's been an hour. You've literally probably watched this entire video and been like, wow, she's either going really slow or really fast. I don't know if I'll speed this up. But for anyone out there who are questioning their college choices with the pandemic and the tech industry and really all the industries being as it is, remember that it will always be bad. It's not going to be one day where you wake up like, oh my god, this job is so safe now. Like, no, engineering will always be stable in a way. It will always be stable. Like being a teacher being stable. Like being a teacher will always be there. And people will believe AI will take all teacher jobs. They won't. We haven't gotten that way. And they definitely won't take all engineering jobs. At the end of the day, it's really up to you and what you do with it. You have to learn how to adapt no matter what. So if you think or you believe that your major isn't good enough, think about why you're doing it. And hopefully it's not for anyone else's, reasoning. But if you have a choice and what you can do what you want to do, choose a right path for you. But also know that when you leave college, you're going to leave feeling lost and afraid and scared, and that's the same for every major. It's not like, oh, if you become this major, you're scared. You become this one, you know exactly what you're doing. That's not true, and it's never true. And people who say that probably were dissociating or something, because that's never true. But I would just say, believe in yourself, believe in what you have going on. I forgot a braid, but I'll do that offline. And let's just enjoy this lovely braid out that is very pretty, very full, still half red, still looks like it's fully red. I don't know why. But yeah, that's really it for today. We'll see if I post this video on time, but I'll be posting once a week, I hope. We'll see. But if you stayed here this long, thank you very much for listening. So I try to fix my hair for some reason. But if you stayed for this long, thank you very much for listening. This is Population Me. My name is Miracle, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my second video. We'll be doing this weekly. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and wait for the newest content. Bye!